me know if you can see me. I've got the chat pulled up. I am going to quickly get straight into the giveaway, just for people that are going to be watching the replay. We've only got 13 people in here live. I know Saturday is really hard for people to log on. We all have lives, we all have a lot going on, and so I want to respect everybody's time and get into the giveaway really fast. And then I've got plenty of time to hang out if anybody wants to do like a mini Q&A, something like that. And so okay, so I see Sparkle Flare, GWP. I see quite a few people in here. I did just see a buffer, so I'm hoping my internet is going to cooperate with us. I'm going to pull the chat back up, and then I'll get straight back into the giveaway. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to detach you from my tripod here, and I'm going to show you live who the winner is. Now, in order to enter to win, you had to comment the word Bluetti. I noticed quite a few comments. Hang on, I need to mute myself. I noticed quite a few comments that were clearly entries for the drawing that didn't just say the name Bluetti. So if it's obvious that this person would like to win and they get selected and they didn't exactly, you know, just post the name Bluetti, we're going to let that slide, okay? Oh, yeah, and Jesse, by the way, you're a moderator too. I made some people moderators that are close friends and family that didn't know. So surprise, if you see anything weird, you have the power to slash them. Because the last live that I did publicly, we had somebody weird. It happens. So I am going to do what I said. I'm going to flip you around. We're going to choose the winner just so we don't waste people's time. And then we'll do a Q&A, okay? So flip. So here's comment inception. There's you guys. I have chosen the YouTube random comment picker. I'm going to try not to get the sun in the way. So all I have to do is post the YouTube link to the video right here. That's it. It's going to find the comments. I'm not going to include replies because that's just redundant. It's not really necessary. And then we're going to click continue. Please wait. All right, you guys ready? Drum roll, please. Pick a winner. 141 comments. Ta-da! Let's see. Oh, yes, that is. It does say Bluetti. I thought it was just a heart. So, Deline Yeager, you are the winner of the Bluetti. Now, this is very important. I'm going to flip you back around. Very likely, there are still going to be scammers trying to get a hold of, especially you, Deline. So, hang on. I am going to go on the video and comment down below under that specific comment and tell them that they won. In order to know that you are talking to me, click the screen name or the profile picture of me and make sure that you are speaking to the Heather that has 20,000 subscribers. If you're not, then it is a scammer. Some scammers are loading my picture up, they're loading our farm name up, and they're trying to impersonate us. All I'm going to need is your address. That is all Bluetti needed from me. I think I gave them my phone number too, but that might not be necessary. There's literally no financial information that's going to need to be exchanged. So Deline Yeager is our winner. Congratulations. That is a really cool. At first, when I told them I would like to do the review video, the giveaway wasn't part of it. That happened later, and I thought that was really awesome of them. Because, I mean, I was already going to do the advertisement for them, essentially, and they didn't have to do that. So that was really special. So, congratulations. That was fun. I'm glad it was a very clear contest entry. We didn't have to wonder. Sorry, guys, I'm a little bit hoarse this morning. Came out of nowhere. We have 26 in the chat. Let me know if you have any questions. You might be able to hear my canner going. We just recently picked up it was like 80 pounds of boneless, skinless turkey thighs from our local Amish store. Every year they do a meat sale and we partake, and this year we got tons of turkey thighs. Some of you know that I don't enjoy raising meat birds, so in order to still get the benefits that is delicious farm-raised poultry, we do take part in that sale, but 80 pounds is a lot. We're going to ground up some, and I have some in the canner today. Oh, you guys have been chatting away, and I have not been keeping up. I see lots of congratulations for Delene. Very likely she's going to come on later because there was a lot of entries. It was 141 comments specifically. So I'm canning some turkey. I need to make butter this weekend. Let me know what you guys are doing this weekend. How is the baby rabbit doing that was out of the nest? I have not been down to the barn today, but yesterday evening, baby was totally fine. Nice and warm. Definitely the runt, but not as bad as I've seen. I've seen some babies that are clearly very far behind their siblings, and those ones, when they get like that, I will pull mama out of the nest and feed them specifically and give them bonus food. So I'll watch them for sure. Yeah, Flo, go ahead and let me know, Flora. She has a question about her goat's health. Flora had some goats escape and were gone for a couple days, at least. Wasn't it a week or so? That was scary. So you guys are noticing in the comments people with a little goat hoof next to their name. Those are our members. I've had a couple questions about the membership. It's a really fun time. There's a lot of behind the scenes things that go on for our members, and every single Saturday I go live for the members. So we have a live chat like this every single Saturday. There are some people that get advanced videos, like they'll get the access to the videos the day before I post them. Like I said, behind the scenes information, my members knew when we had Nefarious on farm before I announced it to the world. So it's a fun time if you want to click the join button just to see what that's all about. It doesn't automatically, you know, tie you into anything. You get to kind of check out what the different tiers are if you're interested in that. Yeah, Flora's goats were missing for 4 days. I couldn't even imagine. That is so scary. Oh, okay. Sparkle Flare has told me there's a comment picker that allows you to have a certain word or phrase chosen. That would have helped, but thankfully it worked out today. We didn't have to wonder and question. Membership is wonderful in this community, says Heather McCarthy. I'm glad you say so, because I have fun. I have a lot of fun with the membership section. And then we have our own little emojis that we get to use too. I don't know if I've got access to those. Yes, I do. So let me see. Click. There it goes. There's Calamity. Because it's the Calamity show, of course. We've got a couple of different emojis. Everyone's probably going to be posting those. Sheila has fun in the membership side of things. Hello, like love. I'm answering questions. We're doing a little bit of a Q&A. We've already announced the winner. And her name is Delene. Delene, and I forget the last name already, but that's why replays are good, right? Miss Delene, I think that's a pretty uncommon name, so I imagine she'll know. Would love to see you slaughtering rabbits. So I don't show that a whole lot. I have a couple videos of our butchering process and what that looks like, but I don't want to touch on that super often because it is sensitive as far as the YouTube terms and conditions. It's absolutely really valuable information because if you've never done it before, it's really helpful to see the entire process start to finish. So we're happy with the content that we already have out there on that subject. There's one of our baby goat emojis that we have. Sparkle Flare, did you just become a member? Yes. Yes, you did. I think so, because I don't remember you being in there. GWP is playing with chainsaws again today. Did you guys see their video that they posted where it's basically this chainsaw wheel attachment on their weed whacker? The goats are in that video. Super cute. They go through the fence like water, as some goats do. I have not experienced that here. I've only had one goat jump ever, and it was Pepper, and she hadn't met Havoc yet, so she wasn't familiar with him, but I wanted her to breed him, and I had just had her and Havoc in a pen, and she said, no, where is my herd? And it took her a couple days of trying. Bless her, she made it over that round pen that I have in the back. I was standing there watching her, so I was able to grab her, and I ended up putting a friend in there that she was familiar with her. I put in Rory so that she didn't feel so alone. a chainsaw attachment to a weed whacker. Yes, check out their video. They posted it yesterday. It's a really cool. I don't remember what it's called. So, Flo says, I took a fecal to the vet and no worms found, but he gave me meds, and but it didn't work, and I gave Safeguard pellets and also equine Safeguard, but no luck. The vet gave me 4 milligrams copper bolus, no luck. So, what's wrong with the goat? Does it have diarrhea? And is the vet able to tell you if he saw coccidia? And what were the meds that were found or were given? All really important things to know. Sometimes goats and their strange poos can be really tricky. Earlier in the year, I didn't post this on the channel because I didn't know what was going on. But Hamish, there we go. I keep trying to call him Cash because our La Mancha buck looks just like a buck that we used to have. Even with the funny skurs and everything, he had bad diarrhea. And wormers and things weren't working. Turns out he was getting into some tomato seedlings that were volunteering in the pen that he was in. And tomatoes are toxic to goats. They have to kind of have a lot to do serious damage, but it can absolutely give them diarrhea. And that's not good. Not good no matter how you slice it. The vet told me a lot of things, that it was no legit, even down to goats shouldn't be in Mississippi. He told you things that weren't legitimate, even down to the thing that goats were not. What medicine did he give you for your goats? I'm curious. Safeguard works here. It doesn't work in a lot of places. So if it were me, if there were no worms, I'd be suspicious, but I would also be suspicious whether or not there are worms. There's pretty much worms no matter what goat you look at. It's just whether or not the worms are above a certain threshold. The only time I've ever looked at a slide and there were no worm eggs on the slide was essentially 5 days after doing a dewormer. And then eventually they get them again. It's kind of par for the course. Yes, our winner, if you are just now tuning in and you haven't heard, winner's name is Daylene, D-E-L-E-N-E. The first name, forgot the last name, but we're going to do the replay and get a hold of Daylene when we can. I haven't seen her in the chat. There's no diarrhea. They didn't say anything about coccidia. He gave me Sidectin. Sidectin is a good one. I don't know about the other. Synathic. Sidectin is a good one. That's a hefty one. So if there's no diarrhea, what were you concerned about for the goat? Like, what about the goats? The goat made you take a fecal. Flora's going to get a microscope. Daylene! Daylene, you won! She's here! So, email me. Just email me and say, hey, I won. What do I do next? I'm pretty sure all I'm going to need is your address. That should be all they need. They may want your phone number, but they're not going to want any financial information. If anybody from Bluetti or me tries to directly contact you, ignore it. You email me. My email is SageAndStoneHomestead@gmail.com. I will type it in the chat so you can copy and paste. And it's also in my about section. Homestead at, okay. So if you copy that, paste it in your send to, just email me. We'll be in direct contact. That is me. You will be safe there. And again, you're safe anyways because we don't need any financial information at all. Congrats. I'm so glad that you're here for the live to see that you won, because sometimes it's a little hard to track people down when they win something. But this is a really good one. I wouldn't want anyone missing out, for sure. So Flora, let me know what was concerning you about the goat that made you take a fecal in, because I'm very curious. Oh yeah, so I have heard about canned pumpkin working wonders for diarrhea in certain animals. I have to give the Sidectin second dose repeated tomorrow. Okay. It's very helpful to have your own microscope at home if you can swing it. You don't have to get anything fancy. It just has to have 100 times magnification. So this part, the eye part, we'll see 10 times. You see here? And then the other part's going to be harder for me to remove. But the part that looks down onto the slide that also will be 10 times. And so 10 times 10 is 100 times magnification, and that is all you need. And I also have, I've got everything right here because right next to my computer is my fecal station. I bought these McMaster slides for doing fecals. Comes with information on how to do it, little tubies, and then the slides. This is what's important. It's really easy to count how many eggs are on the slide when you can do so while looking at these grids here. It's not really a grid, it's more like a column, but they call it a grid. See? Well worth the investment for me personally, because then you give the dewormer and you can check and see if it's actually working. So you can make sure you are getting at least 80% of the worms wiped out. Ideally, it would be 100%. I've seen that in some of my goats. But, so Sheila's going to go. I will see my members later tonight at 8 o'clock. See you later, Sheila. It'll be fun. Okay, so Flora's FAMACHA scores were low. Their eyes are very pink. Pink is okay. Like a peachy pink is borderline. Red is the best. I don't see red super often. I see quite a few of them right now, but we're starting to come out of our worm issue season. And I did just give copper to all of my goats, and that is very helpful. So I'm glad to see that the vet gave you copper. What's at 8? 8 o'clock tonight, I'm doing a live for members only. I go live for members every single weekend, every Saturday. Every other Saturday I go live in the morning, and every other Saturday I go live in the evening, because we do have some members that are across the world, across hemispheres. We've got members in Australia. So I try to alternate like that so that everybody gets the opportunity to attend live. But I also post replays. So if you miss it, you'll see it later. I'm glad you're here. Carrie's Kitchen, hello. Flora's goats were very skinny, and the one goat was coughing a lot and clearly needed copper. The man lied to my husband about many things, so I wanted to check up on them. Lungworm is a thing. Lungworm might be one of those worms that does not show up on fecals. I have not experienced lungworm, but I have experienced liver fluke, which is similar. Sometimes liver fluke eggs are so heavy that they don't show up on the fecal, and the goats aren't necessarily always shedding eggs either. So repeat fecals are always a good idea, and that's why, like, eventually having your own microscope really does pay off if you can swing it. Sorry, I missed the knot. I don't know. Sorry. Hi, Cindy. Miss Betsy Lou, hello. Oh, were you graphic? Were you graphic? Greatest ever? I don't think so. I didn't notice anything. Nothing that startled me, but, you know, I am who I am. Cindy says, I'm learning so much from your natural goat husband, or your goat husbandry series for my future homestead. Thank you. I don't do everything completely naturally for my goats. Actually, a lot of stuff I do conventionally, because I find goats kind of difficult to keep completely naturally. It's not impossible. It's something that I might be able to work into. But for right now, I do need synthetic wormers. I absolutely do. While I'm figuring it out. Miss Betsy Lou, I'm not sure if there is a lag. You just commented that, so if this speech comes in later, you might have a little bit of a lag. You might need to log out and log back in. But I am adding to the goat husbandry series on Monday. I'm going to talk about why we chose dairy goats, because at first I wanted a cow. And I know my friend Megan over at GWP, I think she still wants a cow. I don't. And I'll be going over that, how I started out looking at cows and researching cows, and how I ended up with goats instead. That's going to be part of the goat husbandry series, because that's a little bit backwards. A lot of people start with goats and then like graduate to a cow. A lot of times goats are seen as like a starter dairy animal. It's kind of funny because from what I hear, they're more difficult. I don't know. I've never owned a cow. My neighbors have cows though. Flora, how can you tell if the copper bolus worked? For me, my goat's coat gets a lot shinier. Their hooves are much shinier as well, and a lot less brittle. you'll see that their FOMACHA improves, and they have this vitality about them. They just clearly look healthier than they did, 6 weeks ago. It does take a little while to kind of kick in, but from what I understand, a good wormer plus a copper bolus is a really good 1-2 punch for worms in the gut. I don't know about lungworms. I would guess that if the goat's blood has enough copper in it, it should help them with their immune system. But again, I'm not well versed on lungworm, and that's something I would consider if your goat has a cough, for sure. There are mini cows, and I was looking at a mini cow, Julia. I was looking at mini jerseys, which are very expensive. I'm sure they're well worth it, but I also wanted A2 milk, so I was getting a little bit picky with my cow. Yep. 1 minute lag at most. Fabulous. Okay, Miss Betsy Lou. Looking forward to the goat series, says Richmond's Placed Homestead. It's going to take me a while. If you were here for the Raising Rabbits series, that took me 4 to 5 months to complete. That went a little bit faster than I think the goat series is going to go, because the breeding cycle, like start to finish with rabbits, is so much faster. It's going to be out of order as far as we're going to talk about obtaining goats and, different types of fencing and housing and feeding and all that. But also amidst all that, we are going to be butchering goats, and we are going to be having baby goats born. We're going to be talking about breeding. I'm almost done breeding. I just have little Breezy left. That is it. And so stuff might kind of come out of order, but in the playlist, I'll try to order it so it makes sense with somebody who's just starting, and then like the order of how things work out when you have goats. So, oh, I see. Cindy says, I mean, you're more organic than commercial. I have many allergies. I combine learning from your goat, rabbit, and garden videos. Thank you. Yeah, we do what we can. I can't do everything completely organically, but I was listening to Jess at Roots and Refuge. She had a video that she posted yesterday, and she says it very well. She says there's good, better, and best with homesteading. And anything that you're doing to make yourself more or less dependent on the grocery store, that's good. Like, no matter how you slice it. It doesn't matter how something is raised. If you're raising it at home, that's good. Maybe you could raise things better in the future. Like right now, we don't pasture rotate. That would be better. But what we're doing right now is good. And then there's best, which in that example, I don't know how to make that better or the best. But yeah, a good example would be rabbits. There's good, better, best. I get a lot of flack for raising my rabbits in raised cages up off the ground on wire. That's not ideal, but it's how we can do it. And that's good. It's not the best, but it's good. So, same thing with gardening. Sometimes gardening is really frustrating and hard, especially when you don't have access to really good composts and things. So, do what you can, and it's good. Heather McCarthy, we definitely want some mini cows that are also A2, but who has the gold mine in their basement? I don't know. Good question. Good question. Yeah, I think when I was looking into it, it was 2019, and they were like 3,000. And I don't even know if they were here locally. I know that our vet raises mini Zebus, which are not jerseys. They're like I wish we could share photos so badly. I wish we could share photos in chat. I get why they don't allow it, because goodness, it's just another thing to monitor. But a Zebu cow is adorable. I'm not concerned with the showing of goats, but more the dairy and family needs. Right, and that's where we're at. My daughter does want to show. I think she just wants to do like 4-H, FFA, that kind of thing. We do have some ADGA goats that could go to those kind of shows. Probably wouldn't win. I don't know, maybe we would, but I'm not super focused on that. I've got other goals. Mainly, I want them to be not super high maintenance. And it's possible. I've got goats that I have barely had to do anything with. Havoc is one of them. He's one of my main bucks. We've kept back a lot of his daughters. I've had him since 2021. I felt like it was sooner, but it wasn't. Or later. Sorry, I felt like it was earlier than that. but I've maybe dewormed him 3 times. So I catch him every once in a while. I do his feet, I give him copper, and I send him on his merry way, and he's very healthy. He's such a good boy. I was watching someone make bacon yesterday out of goat meat. Have you ever tried it? No, I have not. I'm going to have to look that up. That is very cool. I've seen people debone rabbits and quail and then make sausages. That was pretty neat. That was slightly rednecked here on YouTube. That's awesome. That's what he raises, is quail and rabbits. It's a little bit tedious, but if that's what you have and you want to debone a rabbit, I'm all for it. Sparkle Flare. Hey, I've got 5 good-sized potatoes from one seed potato that I planted. It was cool to find out how big they were. Very cool. I have a, volunteer potato. It's not really a volunteer. I mean, I planted it, but I didn't plant any potatoes this year. I just didn't harvest them all. As happens, you leave some in the ground inevitably by accident. And it started to do its thing. So I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to harvest it. They'll come back again in spring, and there'll be even more. And that'll be such a cool bonus crop. Okay, greatest ever. I'm getting dressed and heading down to my sister's new place, spent the night there, and walked back home to feed the dog. Still doesn't seem real to have her so close. I'm so glad you've got her close. Good. Thank you for logging on here. She's been here a long time. Dominique Maple, hello. Nana's in here. Havoc is a charmer. I love me some Havoc. That's why I need to call Titus. Titus is out of Havoc. He's one of my main bucks. And he's also really redundant on the doe side. His mama is pesky. And that particular line, Rory's line, is really redundant in my herd. But I'm nervous if I get rid of, my Havoc baby and something happens to Havoc, God forbid. Scary. But he has bred a couple girls, but I think they're all La Manchas. I don't know. He bred Juniper over on GWP's, but I think that's the only Nige or Nige mix that he's bred. He's had all La Manchas. I think, yes, the winner was announced. Forgot her name. My brain dumped it. And she was in here already. So does anybody remember? Daleen. Yes, there we go, Misty. Thank you. Daleen. You guys will learn and see that I am very dependent on my editing. I'm not great live. I do what I can. Whenever I have a friend here and they have a camera, I seize up and I don't know how to talk. My friends at GWP Homestead know that. Goodness, when we film together, sometimes it's so funny. So funny. We're like, oh, why do we do this? We're not good at this. Hey, Shaika, what did you make?
I've made both and done with them.
Can I see? I gave Shaika some Legos to keep him occupied. There's hair in this. There's hair in the airplane. Can I see this one?
A fun helicopter.
That is a fun helicopter.
The helicopter can spin.
Very cool. There we go. Yes, Daleen won. I don't know if she's in here anymore, but very excited that she got to see this G1 live. Very cool. GWP, the editing process makes us look better than we are. Oh, editing. Yeah. There's quite a few long pauses, messed up words, rabbit trails that just have to be deleted because, my goodness, it happens. It's life. Julie says it's fun seeing you live. Thank you. It's fun being live. I haven't gone live for the public in a really long time. But I have gone live a lot for our members section, and it's been good. I've discovered that it's made me record the other content better because I'm getting better at thinking full thoughts out clearly and bringing them out better. And there's not so much editing involved on my end for the other videos now because I've gotten used to talking. That's the whole thing, is it's weird. It's easier to talk when I know you're right there and you're listening. But when you've just got the camera in front of you, it's awkward sometimes. So they tell you to pretend that your friend is right there on Zoom call with you and you're just talking to them. But sometimes, you know better. There's nobody there. It is difficult. But when I know you're here, it's easier. May I ask why you chose Sage and Stone? So I knew that we wanted to do a play on words with our name because Stone is a cool name. And there's an artist out there, musical artist, Avi Kaplan, Avikaplan. I'll type it so you can look him up. I like Avi Kaplan, and he has a song, and it's not necessarily my most favorite song. It might even be called Sage and Stone, but he says it in there. And I was like, you know what? That sounds beautiful. Let's do that. It was a while ago, and so that's what I picked, and it stayed. Sparkle Flare loves Avi. I do too. Many tears. I'm such a crier. Many of you know. I am a crier, and he's good at making me cry. Formerly a part of Pentatonic. Why didn't I know that? I'm sure I did at one point. It's an a cappella group. I'm sure I knew that at one point. Thank you. You've introduced me to a lot of new music, by the way. Have I? I don't talk about it too much, but maybe I do. Maybe I just don't realize it. Or I know what I've done is I've heard music in the background of people's videos, and I've like searched it and found it and loved it. That might be why. That might be how. Can you guys hear my canner? I've been listening to it. She's still going. I'm doing turkey thighs in the canner today. Thank you so much, Anna Paula Crawford. She likes the name. Pentatonic isn't the same without Avi Kaplan. I'll bet his life is better for him. I know he was dealing with a lot. I probably did know he was part of Pentatonic. Miss Betsy Lou, you're that kind of a sister, aren't you? She says, I want to make my baby sister cry because it's so easy. Mean. Very mean. I hear a bit of a hiss. Yeah, that's my canner. It's literally right behind the wall. So there's a wall behind you, and then there's the canner. So my house is really tiny. Hi, Tammy. Tammy's been listening. Yes. So I've got to listen to the canner. I've got to do chores, but I have to wait for the canner. Clearly, you don't just walk outside for very long. If you're gonna walk outside, you need to go back inside really quickly when you've got your canner running. I've boiled, it was my steam canner that I walked outside, and it didn't boil dry, but that, I don't remember what I had in there, but it was well preserved. I'll tell you that. It went way over. I don't remember what it was. As long as it doesn't boil dry, there's nothing wrong with it. It just is probably overcooked. I don't remember what it was. I think it was a jam, if I remember right. Cassie says, I now own 2 sweet little La Mancha Dolings because I fell in love with yours. And I feel a lot more confident raising goats. Thank you for your content. You are very welcome. That is the entire point. And mini La Manchas are the best. I've been so happy with our mini La Mancha herd, and I haven't even gotten a chance to milk them yet. But I just looked at everybody's famachas, their eyelids, for their anemia scored, and everybody's red. I'm so happy with it. All the mini La Manchas. I've got some Nigis that could use some help, so. Hello. We are well, says Dominant Man. We are well here. I forget his replacement's name, probably Avi, but the new guy fits in well with the group. Avi's voice is pretty magical. He didn't get to show it that much. That's why Justin Timberlake went on his own thing too back in the day. Some people just do better alone. They shine better alone. Bye-bye, Sparkle Flare. See you later. 8 o'clock Central is our members only live. And I gotta rest my voice for that. I got a little bit hoarse. I just took some more elderberry syrup because I don't know. I just got over a sickness and my cough just started to dissipate and it was going away, and I said, oh, I'm getting better. And then it got worse and I was like, uh-oh. Now I have a little bit of a hoarse voice. I don't know why. Which do you find are better producers, Nigerian or La Mancha? It depends on what you're looking for. The reason I'm combining the 2 breeds is because I'm trying to get the best of both worlds. The La Manchas really have a lot as far as volume goes, and their personalities, you just can't beat it. They're beautiful, friendly goats. But the Nigerians, for me, have had a lot better worm resistance, and they have better butter fat. So I can combine the 2 and get an animal that has really low maintenance as far as the dewormers and things go, and produces a lot of high quality milk on less feed than a standard La Mancha, that's a win. That's what I want. So that's what we're trying to make. Yes, I respect whatever people choose to preserve. I'm water bath only, no problems. Excellent. Very good. There is definitely more than one way to skin a cat, and everybody has their preferences. It's all good. Alyssa says, thank you for all your videos. You're my inspiration to want to start bees, and your transparency about this year's was so encouraging. Yeah, this year, I haven't done a lot with my bees. They're flying. They're doing. I need to close them down for winter. Usually by Thanksgiving, they need to be ready, and then I don't open them again. Take echinacea oregano. So I have, my members know that I walk away from my camera sometimes. I'm going to go get what I have and show you. I'm back. So I have a naturopathic doctor that I go to, and he's given me this, which I think it's made in Nashville. Oof. Can't see, but Forest Folk Fungi. It says this fantastic fungal formula contains 9 highly revered mushrooms traditionally known to promote wellness of mind, body, and spirit. These beings have been extensively researched for their role in promoting emotional equilibrium, balancing immune function, and bringing the clarity of mind. Educate your immunity. Oh, it says Georgia. But I think it comes out, I think he told me this, he does get it out of Nashville. Heather, my daughter, says hi and she loves your video. Hi, Riley. Shika just looked up like, what? You're talking to Riley? So yeah. Spicy tincture. The chat's moving pretty fast. So if you asked something and I didn't see it, okay. I saw a question that I answered, so it's not moving too fast. So yes, someone says, Anna Paula says, it's just the change in the weather. We were cooler. Today the high is 82 here, which is all, like crazy for the end of October. Do you have a go-to recipe for people who have not tried goat meat before? Dominique asks. I have a family member that says that they would probably never try it just because they haven't had it. Well, that's a silly reason not to try something. At one point in their life, they were trying everything for the first time. Don't forget that. So what I love to do, if you can get a hold of goat shoulder, so good, is you put the goat shoulder literally on a lipped pan, so like a cookie sheet with a lip. It doesn't need to be oiled or anything. Put whatever spices you like on it. Nice warm spices are good. Believe it or not, things like nutmeg are really good on goat meat, and black pepper with salt. Cover it with either foil, or I have silicone mats that I just lay on top. You want to retain moisture in the meat. Put it in the oven. I forget the temperature. Jessie, if you're still in here, do you remember the temperature? She might not be. My sister-in-law just got a new house and she's got a lot going on. But it cooks for 6 hours in the oven on a low temp. I forget the temp. It might be like 300 to something. And it cooks for 6 hours, and then the meat just falls off the bone. It is so good. It's very reminiscent of pork mixed with lamb, in my experience. Very good. We have lots of venison in the freezer still, because after we processed our goats last year, we kept reaching for goat over the venison. But it's because their fat is so good. Venison fat, a lot of people don't like it. I've used it in soaps before, but it kind of leaves a film in your mouth. Goat fat does not. It's a lot like pork fat. It's yummy. Oh, and this is the other thing I have. Mullein that I need to take. I'm very bad at remembering myself when I'm sick. Very bad at it. Lots of walnuts, Nana says. Levi and I talked about, like, we don't have any kind of productive trees on our property that I feel like we should have. We've got dumb trees like sweet gum. I know that there are medicinal benefits to sweet gum, and I was very excited to learn that. Oh, 400? Jesse says it cooks at 400 for 6 hours. Are you sure it was 400? That seems like a lot. Was it 6 hours? I feel like something is wrong. I didn't know it was, I can't remember. 400. I'm listening as I put ceiling fans together. 400 degrees, she says, for the goat shoulder. Then I feel like it wasn't 6 hours. I've got something wrong. But look up roasted goat shoulder. You'll find a recipe. That's all we did. We just Googled. I think Jessie did it first. Stone soup substitutions. She hasn't posted a video in a while. She probably won't for a while. She just got her house, but she's good at cooking. Cool. I like to take my tinctures straight. A lot of people will put it in a couple ounces of water. Works fine no matter what.
What is
This is Mommy's spicy water. Do you want some? You can have a tiny bit. Come here. I don't care if it's spicy, he says.
I said, I can't.
Goat shoulder. Preheat the oven to 400, tightly wrap in foil. Put the oven and drop the temp. Okay. Drop it to 300. That's where it was. Thank you, Jessie, for looking that up. That is so darn good. And it's very easy. It falls off the bone. Save the bone, because you can make bone broth with it. Spicy, eh?
Kind of.
Yeah, okay. No, that's fine, Jessie. I know you're busy. She only looked at the first half. Yeah. Okay, so that's the recipe for goat shoulder. Try it. So good. If you want to experiment with walnuts, I've got a blue million on the ground. Yes? Do you have persimmons, GWP? Because I'll be over there like today with my sore throat and all. I have a persimmon tree. I have purchased so many persimmon seedlings, and they are not cheap. But something keeps happening to them every single year. This year it was the Japanese beetles defoliated the whole thing. The tree is alive, but I don't know if it's received enough from the sun to get through the winter and come through. So we'll see. But yeah. We are doing a Q&A, guys. If you have any questions, let them rip. We're here. I do want to experiment with walnuts. Apparently they're really hard to open. You have to like force them open. But just the idea of having like a plethora of free food that's just hanging out in your backyard waiting for you, that is amazing. I really like perennials and trees like that. That's a blessing. Jessie's probably got a million things that she hasn't even discovered on her new property. I tried to roast leg of lamb, says Heather McCarthy, twice in my life, and it came out smelling like gym socks. What my mother-in-law does is she will, when I've done this with goat leg too, you put little slits in the meat, and then you stuff rosemary and garlic into the little holes. You put them like every 2.5 inches all throughout the whole thing, and cover it in oil. The leg of lamb, I think, is covered in oil. I don't think I did that with the goat, but it's been a long time since I've had goat meat. We went through it really fast. Jessie, Stone Soup Substitutions has saved persimmon seeds this year. I did too. I put them in the refrigerator because it says they need to be cold stratified. So that mine are in the fridge. They need to stay there for 4 months. Cheryl, I always used a hammer to open them. Yes. We have a vise. I've seen people use a vise. There's like a special way to put them in the vise to like crack them and get the nut more whole. Yeah, GABP, we're going to come pick nuts up off of the ground at some point soon. We have to. We got to schedule a time to get together for that because I want to do that. I'm sorry that the lamb tasted like gym socks. Smelled like gym socks. I hope it tasted better than that. Very good advice. Anna Paula says, try adding red wine. It takes the taste away. I have heard that that's a good way to take kind of the gaminess out of meat and some of the richness. It balances out really well. How do you win? The winner has been announced. I forgot the name again, guys. I will forever forget. I'm so sorry. Delene, D-E-L-E-N-E, has won. She has been in contact with me, so the winner has been reached. There were 141 comments, so it was a lot. That was the biggest giveaway we've done. It's been the biggest in response and as far as the value of the giveaway. So, yes. Getting ready to have my goats bred. I'm super nervous. First time for two of them and me. Yeah. You'll all do fine. They know what to do. We've only got one more left. So Tempest went into heat. She was in heat when I was recording the garden tour. And it was funny because I was recording and then he was like jumping on her in the background, and while I was editing I was like, oh my goodness, there's goats doing the thing in the background while I'm trying to talk about carrots. It was really funny. I left it in there. It's kind of like an Easter egg in the garden tour, the most recent one. It wasn't like a successful breeding. Sometimes they kind of jump around on each other before they get the job done. But, yep. So you guys chatting with each other. Papa and Nana, I put potatoes and carrots in mine. Potatoes are great in anything. Yes. Oh, you saw that, Heather McCarthy? It was hilarious. But it's good. My little Nefarious that was his third heat cycle with Tempest. So he it took that long for him to figure out that there's something he needed to do with that. But he got it. He figured it out. The power went out yesterday. Oh, I hate it. Ours used to go out way more than it does now. We haven't had a random power blip, knock on wood, in a really long time. But they did just mow like the right-of-ways, I think is what it's called, for the lines that are overhead. And a lot of new infrastructure went in since the tornado. So it's a lot better than it was. So, which is good. But still, I mean, they're calling for a super cold winter again. And I did that. Have you guys done the persimmon test? It's like an old wives' tale. You can find, like they suggest it in the almanac too, where you take a persimmon seed, an American persimmon seed, and you split it open, and the shape of the germ, or the inside of the seed, is supposed to be a predictor of what the winter is supposed to be like. So remind me, I know that if it's shaped like a spoon, it means a lot of snow. I know that if it's shaped like a knife, it's supposed to be, super cold, like cold cutting winds. And then I forget what the fork, like if it's a fork, I know it's supposed to be mild, but I forget what how you're supposed to remember that fork means mild. Like, what does the fork mean? Do you guys remember? Miss Bessie Lou, we don't have persimmons. I know it's a southern thing. Bees are supposed to be a predictor. Tell me about it, Julia. Because I didn't know that. Let's see what the bees can tell us. Anna says, I'm Portuguese, so the meats are number one on our table. Unfortunately, it became too expensive to purchase, but there are different ways to cook it, from rabbits to lamb, baked or stew. Rabbit stew. I haven't made Hassenpfeffer in a long time, but it hasn't been super stew season. Sometimes cooking something on the stove for a long length of time just heats up the house, and that's not a fun summer thing, but we're getting into it. Does anyone grow pawpaw? It's something I have it on my list. Pawpaw. It's another thing that I'm like, the persimmon seeds, Nana, if you open them up, you split them in half where their natural seam is. The inside of the seed, there's like a white part. I'm pretty sure it's called a germ. And the shape of it is supposed to predict the winter. Mine was a knife. Sorry, I never finished that thought. It was a knife, so it's supposed to be cold cutting. And I was like, no. No. Yes, my persimmon seed was a knife. Yes. Do you have backup sources if electric goes out for long periods? No. We have the Bluetti, and the Bluetti with the solar should get us through pretty well, but we have a lot, as you know. We have a lot of freezers and things. We've talked about getting a generator for the house, a whole home generator. Our house has a plug for it. So somebody had one here at some point, I think. Because why would you have the hook? I don't know. Maybe all mobile homes come with a hookup. I don't think so. But it's got a plug for it, and that's something we've talked about investing in. with our next tax return. Trish, I'm in the Pacific Northwest. I can't grow pawpaw. We have things y'all can't grow either. You're right. You do. There are regional delicacies, that's for sure. Pawpaw is one in the South. Apparently it's kind of banana in flavor. So, Cheryl, I need a Bluetti for my oxygen. Interesting. Yeah, because you wouldn't want to use like a gas-powered something for powering the oxygen. That's interesting. I don't know if I've seen an oxygen. The oxygen tanks that I've seen haven't had electric, but yours must have a pump. Yours must have a pump. I haven't seen those before. We've been live for almost an hour, so that means my canner is almost done. So at the 1 hour mark, I will probably have to go because the canner will be done, and then I need to go milk the goats because it's 11:20 and they're probably out there screaming. But then for the members, I will be going live at 8 p.m. tonight. If you're not sure what the membership is all about, if you click the join button down below, you'll be able to see what all the benefits are. There's a lot of behind the scenes content, a lot of videos and photos and things that I post. I go live every single Saturday there on the membership side of things. And I've gone live in the middle of the week randomly before too. My concentrator plugs into the wall. Okay. Very, very interesting. Okay, so Heather McCarthy says you can get a battery backup from office supply stores for a short amount of electricity. My mom has one of those. My mom has quite a few autoimmune diseases, and her muscles are very weak, and she can't get up out of her chair without one of those like lifting chairs, and her chair has a battery backup because if she's sitting down and the power goes out, she can't get back up. And so it has a backup so that she can stand back up at least and sit in one of her tall chairs. She's got like bar stools and things that she can sit on and not like try to run down the power of her chair in a power outage. Pawpaw, I would love to grow only if I could find the seeds. Anyone know where I could find it? No idea. Someone here probably has some for you. Bye, Tammy. See you later. I need one for my computer, Heather, a battery backup. Because when I'm sitting here editing and the power goes out, there's like 0% reserve on my computer. It just goes pew and I lose. I do have autosave on my editing software for the YouTube program, but still, it's frustrating. Becoming a green stalker is heading out. Have a great weekend, you too. 12:20 here, Heather. We're in different time zones. Yeah, Kentucky has two different, I think at least two, Eastern and Central. We are in Central time because we're way on the west side. We're really close to Land Between the Lakes, if you know where that is, and Fort Campbell. Very close. Can't pay to join. I'm poor. I don't even have food security. I am very sorry about that, and that is completely fine. We have a lot of super fun content on the free side of the world as well. For sure. Okay. So yeah, as far as this weekend goes, as far as plans, I told you guys earlier, I need to make butter. I have the canner running right now. Levi picked me up some more vacuum seal bags because I'm finding that I like to vacuum seal my meat before I put it in the freezer. We just got our pigs back from the butcher. Mostly. Some of the cured meats and things are still at the butcher, but they vacuum sealed the meat and I really like it. All I've ever done in the past is put them in like freezer bags and then wrapped those freezer bags in butcher paper and put them in the freezer, and that works, but the vacuum sealing is a lot faster, and I think it's probably cheaper because I've been using like the brand name Ziploc bags for the meat. We also put the ground meat in those like tubes. I don't know if you're familiar with the butcher tubes that ground meat frequently comes in. That's super simple, but as far as the other cuts, I'm really liking vacuum sealing. So Levi bought some vacuum seal bags this morning, and I'm going to be putting some of the turkey in those. Oh, the chat's moving. It's 1:52 in Newfoundland, Canada. We're half an hour ahead of the rest. Half an hour. Why did I not realize there were time zones that went by half hour? Interesting. Bye-bye, Noli. I didn't know you were in here. I'll see you later if you want to join the 8 p.m. members live. I figured near Fort Knox or Fort Campbell with the practice in your video sometimes. It's Fort Campbell. Yep, it is. I have heard, Dominique, of the Jackery. I just learned about the Jackery backup that can be used for small stuff. It can be charged with solar, but I don't have the solar panel. I have it for backup for my reptiles heat source. Is very smart. That is a really good reason to have a backup battery pack. Animals that need heat, like the cold-blooded. Julia says, only in Newfoundland, talking about the time change. That's funny. We have our own time zone, says Cindy. Everyone else is on the hour. Like, that must be so hard to live. Maybe not if you're very like local. You don't have to think about everybody else's time zones, but oof. That's a brain teaser, at least for me, because I'm not used to it. I'm sure you're used to it. Okay, Noli, I'll see you later. Anna Paula is leaving too. See you guys later. I'll be checking out in a few minutes. My canner will be done and the goats will need me. That's for sure. Hi, Jessica. Our winner was announced, Deline. And Deline has been in contact. Deline, I'm sure, has emailed me by now. I haven't even looked. I've got everything on quiet so that it doesn't interrupt. So, yeah. What else? Oh, I told you guys we got our pigs back from the butcher. We don't have the cured meat. So, we took all of the pigs to the butcher. They actually came and got them. And we were a little bit worried because Bobo, our boar, he's intact. And we hear sometimes that boar meat is called boar taint, but it basically tastes like pee, smells like pee. It doesn't, at least not our boar. We were very fortunate to not have any kind of boar taint in our meat. We asked the butcher to process him separately just in case, but his meat is wonderful, and I'm so happy. So what we have to get back are literally 6 full hams, because all 3 pigs with their 2 back legs, 6 full hams that we had them cure and slice and vacuum seal, and then all the bacon. It was 28 pounds of bacon. It's not here yet. So I will be making a video on our pigs that we had butchered. We bred Kuni. They will be different breeds, Julia. When we get pigs again, we're going to go with different breed, because that was expensive. We paid a lot for those pigs. They were supposed to be breeders that never bred. A Kuni is not something that I would buy to grow out for meat at all, unless you could find one cheap. That's not what I would do. They're good, but I don't know if I would buy a feeder necessarily. When you do have other breeds that grow faster, they get bigger. On the same, amount of food, basically. There's other pigs that have a better feed conversion ratio than the Kunis, but we still did well. It wasn't a total loss. That's wonderful haul from your home-raised pigs. I cannot wait to show you guys. I showed our members the freezer as it is right now, and that's without the hams and without the bacon. I don't know. It's an entire stand-up freezer. It's full. Once we get the hams and the bacon in there for sure. Cheryl says she likes old spot pigs. I have heard that those are good ones. I'm going to see what we can get locally. We have a lot of Amish farms around here. They may just have mixes, but if I can get a feeder for $50, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to have pigs this year because we don't need it. We have so much pork in the freezer that I can skip a year with raising pigs. So that's what I'm going to do. And Amber Gates likes red wattle pigs. Very cool. This live was fun. Trish says, have to go now. Take care. Take care, Trish. Thank you so much for signing on. She says, I do need a generator for that fridge. I do. So that one, we have, I'm trying to count in my head, 3 refrigerators and 1, 2, 3 freezers. The refrigerators all have a freezer on the top as well. I think that's it. And they're not all in the same spot. So a couple, like our pig our pork meat is out in our shed, and it's connected to the same power box, but I don't know how the generators work, the whole home generators. It might just be the house. I don't think it necessarily powers the meter. You know what I mean? I'm not sure though. Thankfully, if the power goes out for an extended period of time over the winter, it's less of an issue to worry about our fridge and freezers. Because they're insulated as it is, especially when they're full. They'll be insulated for a really long time if you don't open them. A freezer will be, but it'll obviously get warm faster in the middle of the summer. We also, too, though, some of my members had asked a little bit about this in our last members live. We have friends who are Amish that own a grocery store up the street from us. They're huge. That's a big, I've got a video on it. Big walk-in cooler and a huge walk-in freezer. If we needed to move some meat to keep it good over there, they would absolutely allow it. Theirs runs off of diesel. They don't use, power for it, so power outages don't affect them. So that's what we would do if we really needed to. Take our stuff up there. My sister took two 250-pound pigs to the butcher, and they were 400 pounds. Is that the meat they got back was 400 pounds? That's a lot. Wow. I don't know how many pounds back. I know on my receipt it talks about how many pounds of bacon that I'm getting back, because that's sliced and packed in 1 pound packages, but I don't, like all the sausage and thing, I don't think was weighed. I'm sure that they did weigh it, the whole thing. I don't even know if I have the receipt anymore. I'm not good with little pieces of paper, but they did give us a hanging weight. I just didn't double check what it was. I'll find out, because I have to go back there and get our hams and stuff. I'll find out, because that'll be good information for the video. The Amish put their freezers outdoor in cold zones, pretty much stops running. Yeah, I think one of our friends has an outdoor freezer that he just put in. Our friend's is essentially, it's not, because you can access it from inside the store, but I think like the roof of it is technically outside. The pigs were 400 pounds each. Yeah, that's a lot. Mine were not. My pigs were, like my boar was probably 250, but the girls were a lot smaller. You hear that? That's my canner. My turkey's done. So I am going to sign off. I'm going to shut off my canner. I'm going to let that cool down while I am milking the goats. This was a good live. I will try to do more of these, and I'll let you know how often. I go live weekly with my members. I may try monthly for the public, but this was really fun. I like live streams. Not everybody does, but I do. It's a fun way to connect. We're trying to grow and support a community here, and this is a really fun way to do it. So I'm going to tend to all of my things. I'll see my members today at 8 p.m. Central Time. And I'll see you then.